And this might be the only one this week that might be a little bit controversial. Actually, it'll be a lot bit controversial. This is something that came out a few weeks ago. We're going to talk about Harrison Butker. This is going to be our very first, I believe this is our first sports related topic on the
I believe
show.
so because I'm just now like in the game on that.
We're going to talk a little bit about this in case you are possibly living under a rock. Harrison Butker is the place kicker of the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Much as I hate to admit that, that is actually true. And he recently gave a commencement speech and came under fire for it. I have a lot of things to say about this, but let's read about an article first in the New York Times, which for some reason I seem to have access to, but Katie doesn't. That's probably,
I had it earlier and I just clicked on it. It's like create an account.
yep,
No.
that's a skill issue. So Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker said he doesn't have any regrets about his commencement address at Benedictine College earlier this month, saying in his first public comment since the speech that he received, quote, a shocking level of hate, unquote, but also support for his views. Quote, it's a decision I've consciously made and one I do not regret at all, unquote, Butker said Friday night at the Regina Cayley Academy Courage Under Fire Gala in Nashville, Tennessee. Could we add a few more frickin' words to the gala, first of all? Is nobody making frickin' flyers for this event? Because if you're like me and you know about flyers, they frickin' charge by the word. Regina Cayley Academy Courage Under Fire Gala. Anyway. All right, now it's making me create an account. It doesn't matter. Okay, hold on. Why are you
We
making
got
me
to get
create
it.
an account? This is jerkful.
I I I jinxed it. I'm sorry.
You jinxed me.
I know. I said earlier before we started, I said, let me read this thing while it's let me read it because it's not going to let me in a minute.
Right?
And I was right.
So I think the thing that angered the most people is when he essentially said that women have been told diabolical lies. So
Yep.
I'm going to give my 2 cents on this. And I
Mhm.
know a lot of y'all will probably know where I'm going to go with this, but I may surprise you as well. First of all, I would like to point out that this is a commencement speech at a Catholic college. So, the first thing you have to understand is who his audience is. Okay?
Yeah.
The very religious based audience, and this address is addressed to a religious based audience. That's the first thing. Okay? And there's a lot of religious rhetoric and things like that in the speech, which is fine with me. For me, I don't necessarily agree with anything he said in this commencement speech. In fact, I've read the commencement speech, and I can't really tell you that there's a single thing in it that I agree with beyond him saying I'm beyond blessed. I might agree with that. I think he is probably beyond blessed. Now, just because I don't agree with what the man thinks or says or whatever doesn't mean I don't agree that he has the right to say whatever he feels, thinks, or whatever. He can say whatever he wants.
Mhm.
And I respect and understand his right to do so. But we all have the right to agree or disagree with whatever he says.
Mhm.
My major my major my major problem with what he said is he's essentially trying to um I guess the right word would be wish cast his perspective on other people. And I don't feel like it is fair for anybody um to try to celebrate or not celebrate what somebody else might think or not think. Um
Mhm.
that's just my 2 cents. I don't think it's his perspective. His perspective is of a white, straight, religious male, and that's okay. But what he's trying to do is he's trying to transfer his perspective onto females, and that's where I'm not okay with anything that he said.
It really, it feels, the first thing I thought when I read it, it feels so discrediting. Like it really does. Like he's out of college. Like these are successful students. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like you're literally telling half the people like you're doing this for stupid reasons. Like you shouldn't even be here, but like you should be doing this instead. Like
Mhm.
why are you here? Why did you put all this work into this? Like I will never, okay, I'm not gonna say I'll never, but I will never want to go to college.
Right.
Fun fact, I didn't even get through school. I have my GED. So for somebody to even like be in college and like get through it, props to you, my friend.
Mhm.
And then like he's just like, oh well, I mean, lies.
Well, again, I mean, there's a lot of religious rhetoric in this,
Yeah,
about Catholicism, and that's okay.
yeah,
That's essentially what the platform is meant for. He
yeah,
does spend the beginning of or maybe not the beginning, but not too far into the speech, he spends time essentially demonizing the Biden administration, which is okay. Again, that's his opinion, and he's welcome to it. I'm not sure that's the right platform for that, but that whatever. I mean, there are people using their platform to say whatever their political views are and whatever their not religious views are and things like that, and that's okay. And from what I understand, this speech was okayed by the college first, although they did kind of come out and try to temper expectations or reactions to it.
yeah.
Um, I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, um, he has a right to say whatever he wants. It's freedom
Right.
of speech, it's freedom of expression. And we've talked
Mhm.
about that on this show. Just because you don't agree with somebody doesn't mean they don't have the right to feel it or say it or whatever
Agreed.
he wants to. Katie and I may not agree with what he has to say and what his views are, but his rights are still the same.
Yep. All you do is
So
get mad and move on.
that's right. And another thing I did want to talk about a little bit is I am not really a fan of people trying to cancel human beings for their views. And
I
what?
really. You go ahead.
Okay, um, just because you don't agree with somebody, you shouldn't openly try to cancel that person. I mean, there's a lot of people out there from the left side of the political aisle that are trying to get him fired or trying to do what we've talked about many times on this show, and that's to try to get people to say things for clicks, like, oh, you see these interviews out there with Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey and Patrick
Yep.
Mahomes and Andy Reid and anybody who has anything to do with Harrison Butker, and they're trying to get them to disagree or say something ugly about Harrison Butker just to get clicks, trying to get him fired from the Chiefs, trying to get the NFL to suspend him, and I don't think that's a good look. Not
I
not
don't either.
for not for saying something that you feel, even if you don't agree with it. As long as it's not something that's going to openly hurt somebody, it's not hate speech, it's not anything like that. It's just something you don't agree with. Personally speaking, I agree that being a mother and a wife is a huge honor, and being a father and a husband is a huge honor. But for me, as a straight white male who is a father and a husband, there is no chance on this planet of me ever trying to say something for a woman. Ever.
Mhm.
Period. I am never ever going to say you should feel this way because that, in my opinion, is misogynistic.
Mhm. I
Not only that, but
and
it's
this.
cause for death in 14 states. No, it's really not. Really
It
not.
should be. No, I'm kidding.
It is in
Um,
my house. I can tell you that right now. I'm married to a redhead. She the boss.
Yeah, Jackson can get behind me on that. I look pretty crazy and I kind of give crazy vibes too. But the term cancel is so bizarre to me. In this instance, it's not okay. Getting them fired, all that stuff's just freaking ridiculous.
Mhm.
I feel like when it comes to like social media canceling or like music, like a musician or anything like that canceling, all that really is doing is changing the audience. Literally it. It's not like all of a sudden you just don't have anybody.
Mhm.
Like
And
that's all it is.
it's one after another after another after another. Both sides are doing it. Both sides are guilty of it, and
Yep.
it's freaking ridiculous, right? I mean, you got people on the left that want to cancel Kid Rock. You got people on the right that want to cancel Dylan Mulvaney, and like
Yeah.
all in that situation, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. Why? I
Absolutely.
mean, if you don't agree with somebody because of political or religious reasons, or any other frickin' reason for that matter, keep scrolling. Don't buy it. Don't do it. Don't
Pissed
consume
off
it.
at Costco today
Yeah?
at this freaking Karen. Okay, but did I go be like, you need to kick her ass out? No.
Why not?
Same shit. I know. But my mom was holding me back. I was like, I think it's real funny how
But,
I was
I
like, I
mean,
think it's funny when you're ugly on the inside, you're ugly on the outside too.
well, I think it's funny that, the people on the left say the people on the right are all about cancel culture. And then the people on the right are saying, oh, the people on the left are all about cancel culture.
Yeah.
Fact is, both sides are
Everyone.
trying to cancel people on the other side. And
Yeah.
as long as, like, if it's just somebody that's trying that's exhibiting their rights, and you're just trying to cancel them because you disagree with them, then that's foolish. It's dumb.
Absolutely
There are
foolish.
people in this country, for example, that are patriotic human beings that want to unalive people on the other side of the aisle, and they're both
Well,
Americans, bro. Like, we're all Americans. If you Personally speaking, if you want to unalive somebody else who's also an American just because they don't agree with you, or they're a liberal, or they're a conservative, or whatever, you're not American, in my opinion. You're just, I don't get that. I don't understand that. Like, I'm a veteran. I can't possibly see a reason why I would want another American to be dead, be
okay.
unalived.